All right. Good morning, everyone. We're going to give people another 30 seconds or so to hop on, and then we'll get started. All right. Well, people will still be hopping on, but good morning, everyone. My name is Michaela Hensler. I'm a member fulfillment specialist here at WiscNet, and I'm joined by my colleague Ivor. I wanted to start off by saying thank you all so much for being with us this morning. A few quick housekeeping things. Today's session will be recorded and emailed to all registrants. And we'll also be leaving some time at the end for questions. So if you have any, please drop them in the chat or hang on to them, and we'll answer them at the end. We're excited to talk about our co-managed firewall service and our expansion with Palo Alto. So with that, I will hand things over to our secure platform team and Heidi Genthner and for introductions and to take things away.
Thank you, Michaela. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Teach and Learn, reviewing the co-managed firewall service and our expansion into Palo Alto, as Michaela mentioned. I'm going to take you through a roadmap, just kind of give you an idea of what we're going to talk about, and then we're going to go ahead and meet the rest of the team. So first meeting the secure platform team, I'll do my introduction at that point. Planning the expansion, kind of what went into making this decision. Why did we expand into Palo Alto? We have a little audience poll, make it a little interactive, talking about how this service is built on partnership, how the power of the membership is helping us provide this expansion, and then going into a bit about the co-managed firewall service and what a transition process looks like. Like Michaela said, go ahead and put your questions in the chat, and at the end, we'll go through the questions and answer those. So with no further ado, let's meet the team, and we're going to kick off with Kasi.
Hello, my name is Kasi, and I'm an associate security consultant at WiscNet, helping the other team member with various projects here at WiscNet. I'll hand it to Joshua.
Good morning. My name is Joshua Onesto, security consultant here at WiscNet. And over to Margarita.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Margarita Dobrynina, and I'm a secure platform consultant here at WiscNet.
Good morning again. My name is Heidi Genthner, and I'm the Member Success and Cybersecurity Services Coordinator. And so I work not only with the secure platform team, but all of the teams here at WiscNet to help get the members what they need. And over to Jason.
Yes, good morning. Dr. Jason Downey. I'm the Chief Information Security Officer here at WiscNet. I'm working to strengthen cybersecurity programs and address all the evolving threats that are facing our members across Wisconsin. I'm really excited to be here today to share how we're going to continue to expand our security services to meet a lot of the needs of our members. With that, I'd like to talk about how the expansion really came together. So Heidi, if you could slide to the next one. Perfect. She's already ahead of me. Before expanding the co-managed firewall service, we spent a considerable amount of time listening to our members, evaluating what they needed most from our security services. We constantly heard similar themes. Cybersecurity threats are increasing, technology environments are becoming more complex, and many organizations are being asked to do more with limited staff and resources. We also heard a desire for greater flexibility in firewall platform selection. While our Fortinet offerings have been very successful, some members have standardized on Palo Alto networks or are considering Palo Alto as part of their long-term security strategy. As we work through this planning process, we focused on a simple question. How can WiscNet help members strengthen their cybersecurity operations without taking away any of that local control that many of you really do want? And that question really did guide us in everything that we did. We listened, We took that member feedback, we took the challenges, we took the requests for additional platform options, and that definitely shaped our directions. So we evaluated the threat landscape. We checked on the operational burden that's really been placed on a lot of the local IT teams within your districts and schools and all the membership, and the growing demand for support across multiple security platforms. We really then designed an approach that preserves what you valued most about our co-managed service. Local ownership, decision-making authority, combined with access to trusted expertise and operational support. Finally, we delivered. The result is an expanded service that provides additional firewall options, strengthens our security partnerships with our members, creates a sustainable support model that can grow alongside the members' needs. Ultimately, this expansion is about meeting the members where they are and providing options that align with your security strategies, staffing realities, and long-term technology plans. I don't want to go too much further without going into everyone else's slides. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Josh, who's going to talk about why we chose to expand into Palo Alto networks.
Good morning. So why expand into Palo Alto? This isn't about changing what we do. It's about providing another choice to our members. Everybody has preferences. Some prefer Fortinet, some prefer Palo Alto, just like some prefer PCs, while some prefer consoles. Expanding into Palo Alto gives us the ability to support more members in the way that works best for them and increases member choice, provides greater flexibility across different environments, and broadens our cybersecurity expertise by expanding into another leading firewall platform. We're positioning ourselves to better support the ever-evolving security needs of our members. And next slide. So here is the list of the models that we will be offering. I will be providing the link in chat so that way you can view all this at your convenience. Next slide. Pass it over to Kasim.
Morning again. So we're gonna do a poll here. If you can again, we're gonna see a poll come up. So we want to ask a question to see how you guys manage your file right now. If you can choose, if it's fully managed, you guys fully manage yourself, or it's fully outsourced, or it's somewhere in between. Please just pick your answer and submit. Thank you. Let's see.
We'll give the poll just another couple seconds here.
Okay.
All right, let's vote. Numbers aren't changing, so I'm going to end this.
All right. Thank you.
Can you guys see the results?
Yeah, I see the result.
Perfect.
I have 64% fully self-managed, 7% fully outsourced, and 29% somewhere in between. Yeah. Okay.
It's good to stop sharing those.
Okay, so we're going to move into talking about our co-managed firewall service. As I mentioned in the roadmap, this is a service built on partnership. Our co-managed firewall service is not something that we do on our own. The members retain decision-making authority, so we're not going to just decide what rules need to go into your firewall. That'll be a conversation. We will configure and report, develop configuration and reporting collaboratively with you. We can provide some advice, but again, we're not going to just dictate what happens in the firewall. We will coordinate with you around firmware and security updates, making sure that any maintenance is done after hours or at appropriate times where it's not going to interfere with your network. We support firewall governance and consistency. One thing to note about our firewall service is for those E-rate eligible members, because we are your network provider, our firewall service is E-rate eligible category 1 service. So we have an integrated network access and firewall service. And with our expansion into Palo Alto will now be included as that category 1 service. Another bonus of our service is that we will pay for the multi-year licenses upfront. So whether you want a 3-year agreement, a 5-year agreement to lock in those prices, we'll pay for that upfront, but then you can pay us annually. So you don't have to figure out the large capital expenditure every 3 to 5 years. You can just make it an annual cost in your budget, and we'll do that large payment every 3 to 5 years. So the power of the membership. I think we've all seen how hardware pricing is changing, rapidly increasing. So I just full disclosure, this is what the pricing was at the time of this quote. The quote is valid until July 10th. This does not mean this is going to be the price in a month or two. So whatever, if you want to look at Palo Alto, say in 3 months, we'll get quotes at that time to get the actual pricing. This is just to give you an idea of the pricing that we have right now. And then also for those E-rate eligible members, how pricing is split between E-rate eligibility and non-E-rate eligibility. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on each of these slides. I have a slide for each of the models and the pricing. But as you can see, we basically have 3 categories of cost. The hardware, which is a one-time fee, pay all of that right up front, and that is 100% E-rate eligible. Then there's the Precision AI bundle, which is the software portion of the Palo Alto. That is only partially E-rate eligible. And then support, which is both the Palo Alto support for the device and then the WiscNet managed support fee. And again, the Palo Alto support is only partially E-rate eligible. And so this shows you what the total annual cost is. All of this pricing is based on 5-year quotes that we received. So I just kind of took this out to represent the total 5-year cost for this particular device. The 560 is kind of our introductory Palo Alto. I think will likely, meet a lot of people's needs. Here's the 1420, the next model that we'll be offering. And again, the pricing structure is the same: hardware, Precision AI bundle support, and then the difference in E-rate eligibility, both the costs that are E-rate eligible and those that are not, and then what that total annual cost is, and then the 5-year cost. The 3410, so this gets into that kind of like medium-sized institution. And so, seeing prices go up a bit more. The 3420 is another medium-sized institution model. And then we get into the 3440 and the 5440. And again, this is just the pricing as of this moment. And if if we have a conversation and you want to get pricing, we would get updated quotes at that time. I'm going to turn it over to Margarita, and she can go more into the details behind our co-managed firewall service.
Thanks, Heidi. So yes, I will talk about our co-managed service. So the service that we will provide with the expansion to Palo Alto is basically the same as we currently provide with our current platform. So the way we approach this, we talk to you, see what your needs are, and then size you for an appropriate model for the size of your organization. So we will work closely with you. Again, it's a collaborative approach. We work together with our members to make sure that you have resources, to like mitigate risks and everything that comes with the firewall service. So it is a co-managed service. So we will manage it alongside with you. So our members have access to the admin access to the FortiGate. It is not full admin access, but it is basically everything aside from small portions of the configuration that will be hidden for you by default. But we have a process for expanding your admin permissions if needed. So when we work with you on implementing the service, we will give you recommendations, we will do configuration review, and everything that we do with the firewall service, we will run by you. So we will not make any changes that have not been, addressed with you and confirmed with you. So next slide, please. So I'm going to talk about the transition process. Um, so once you commit to our firewall service, we, estimate that the whole transition will take about 6 to 8 weeks. It will depend on the delivery of the hardware. We can start working on, configuration and transition process before hardware arrives, but so we can do your current configuration review. We will talk about the timeline and, like do all those things. But once we have the hardware, we can start applying the configuration to your new Palo Alto firewall, and we'll talk about the changes you would like to make. Give you best practices. Again, that's configuration review. And we will, once the new configuration is ready, we will meet with you. And a lot of times we do meet with members more than once to review the configuration. And it depends on the complexity of your current firewall configuration. But again, this is a collaborative approach, and the timeline for implementation will also depend on you because, so you have to be responsive if you want things to be done by the time you would like them to be done. So this is kind of an overview of the process. And during the installation call, so we do ask you to allocate a 5-hour maintenance window for the implementation. It doesn't mean that your network will be down the entire time, but this gives us enough time to troubleshoot any connectivity issues. We will be testing all the important services that you have and make sure that everything is working as expected. But again, this is all of that will be covered during our initial meeting once you decide that you'd like to go with WiscNet Co-Managed Firewall Service. All right, next slide, please. So yeah, this is our contact information. So we have Michaela and Ivor from member fulfillment team. So if you're interested in the expansion of our co-managed service or in general, WiscNet Co-Managed Firewall Service, please reach out to Ivors and Michaela. And for the implementation team, it's Kasi, myself, and Joshua. So we can address any technical questions that you have. And now we can address questions if anybody has any. Oh. So I see, so Nathan asked if WiscNet owns the hardware or is it leased to own, and Jason responded in the chat.
Yep.
You wanna-
Yeah. So yes, when we do co-managed service, we're listed as the owners, we're the operators. So we have higher elevated privileges that give you admin privileges by signing a memorandum of understanding with us to make sure that you understand if you go in there and play, you can play. But remember, you got to take responsibility for what you do. And then on top of that, once we're done, if you decide to walk away or you can't continue the service, then we just transfer ownership back over to you. And then the other one about high availability pair implementation, yes, we do have high availability pairs, but I'll let Margarita get back into the technical side.
So the next, are we good with this question?
No, we have a question yet.
Sorry.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Nathan and Mike from CISA 9.
Yeah, let's go back. So think from an E-rate perspective, Jason, not your good references to management here, is from an E-rate perspective, I just want to clarify again, as we give you 12,000 or 6,300 bucks for the hardware, for the box, again, is that an asset of the applicant's, I'll just say of the school district, or is that an asset of WiscNet?
So I can answer that.
Yeah, I was gonna say Heidi, we got it.
And I know Annette, our CFO, is on the call too. Generally, what we've done is we buy the hardware, we own it. If after the initial 3-year term, sometime in the future, you decide you don't want to use our co-managed service anymore, and you wanted to leave our service, and you said, hey, can I take the hardware with us? We would let you, but to start off with, we own the hardware because we manage it. We're making sure there's maintenance on it. We have the ultimate administrative privileges, but we have to recover the cost for the hardware, hence the one-time fee.
Gotcha, sort of. I don't agree with that, by the way, but generally I understand what you mean. And I can see your point, because if you had made us, if we were to own it at that point in time, it may become a Cat 2 issue rather than a Cat 1. So I understand what you're doing. Lease to own would create some complexities from an E-rate perspective also. So, but we're still buying we're buying the box, and we don't own it. I just want to make sure that that's clear in how I see that.
I mean, like I said, for that initial term, no. But if at some point you wanted to leave our service and manage it on your own, or go to some other managed service provider, and you said, hey, can we take this with us? We don't want to buy new hardware. We would have that conversation.
So Heidi, so my cost would be $1.
At that point?
Well, because you make a good point. So I like that idea. So I know you own it. Yeah, let's say we do it for 3 years and we got E-rate rolling on this too, and it's doing fine. We understand we don't have it. Our business manager understands it's not an asset under their management. So that makes sense to me. But as we've already paid for the box, and we're done with our 3-year agreement, and we say, hey, we want to do it on our own, is the cost to buy that, I would suggest a fully depreciated box. Will it be $1 for me, or are you saying that we would negotiate the cost of the box after that?
No, I think Annetta can verify, but
Hi, Mike. It
Go
will
ahead.
be a $0. We just transferred the ownership to you, and we would not charge you any fees after.
Thank you, Annetta. You knew I was hanging around here somewhere, right?
Yes.
Thank you very much. That was well. So I understand. Thank you. That's a decent model.
Great, thank you. I see a question about the level of redundancy in the devices.
So there's also a question about an HA. So I think so HA is possible, and Gary, so by redundancy you mean, so there is again, like the HA, the high availability configuration is possible. So let's say you get 2. two devices, and we can set up a high availability configuration. Gary, does that answer your question? All right. I'll take it as a yes. Um, all right.
So I'm looking at Corey's question about getting the license renewals through us, regardless of whether they buy our co-managed service. Generally speaking, we're not just a plain reseller. We want to bring additional value to the membership. And so if you wanted to move to the co-managed service, we could absolutely do that. If you want to just get the licenses, I think we can talk about that. But like I said, historically, we haven't done that. Can we stay with the FortiGate? Yes, we're not doing away with FortiGate. FortiGate's not going anywhere. This is just adding Palo Alto on top of it. Let's see, already own an HA pair of 3420s. What does onboarding look like if they decide to use the co-managed service? I think that's for you, Margarita.
I'm sorry. I got a little distracted. Which question are we addressing?
I think we're all the way down to Steve.
Oh, the onboarding. So we will meet with you. So I think it's more of a license transfer question. So the license, the subscriptions that you currently have will transition to WiscNet, and then we'll review the configuration, and then we'll make some changes so it will show up in our monitoring, and we'll also review the configuration that you have and make any recommendations for cleanup or optimizing. So that we have experience with this type of scenario with another member who had an existing FortiGate service, and then they transitioned to us, and it went well. So we will follow the same path.
And I'm going to keep reading. I know there's answers in the chat, but I'm going to keep reading through the questions. So if people aren't looking at the chat or on the recording, people can hear all the questions and answers as well. Do you recommend a standard set of subscriptions, or do you customize per customer? As Jason put in the chat, we'll work with you. Generally speaking, I think we're suggesting the Precision AI bundle, which has everything. But depending on your needs, there are other options. It's just after, I think it's like 2 items, it just becomes more cost effective to do the bundle. How are the engineers who actually work on the devices being vetted? What are the qualifications? And I guess, David, are you asking about the WiscNet staff who are working on the devices, and asking about the WiscNet staff's qualifications and how they're being vetted?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm curious about.
I'll let Jason and his team talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. We have an in-house lab that we have constant access to with an actual subscription that we have unlimited playtime for us and our staff to gain more knowledge and skill sets that they're actively going down the Palo Alto training routes as well, and attaining certifications to make sure that they can state that they are security experts in Palo Alto as well. So as we kind of go down that road, we'll be announcing when they get those types of milestones as well. But we are also backed and supported by the actions of our business partner and with Palo Alto. So we don't being the fact that we are an internet service provider, when we hit the emergency button, when we want to get help and support, we get a much quicker turn time than you would, I would say, individually. So by using the power of the membership, we get a heck of a lot better response from Palo and Fortinet. When we need help and assistance, we get a higher level technician on the phone as quickly as we can.
Okay. Is there any oversight or audit or techs are doing on the firewalls? Somebody following, I mean, as a customer, I certainly do that, but any sort of basically quality assurance to make sure that the config that your engineers are putting in is,
Yeah, I think trying to hit on the fact of the quality of the template. Like I'm from an environment where the golden template is always there, but being in the environment that we're in now, this is why that transition process was hit on so hard during our presentation, was that every single one of our members is completely different, and we know that. So we want to make sure that we take in anything that you have and your considerations and your policies and things that work best for you. And as we do that, yes, that template does get modified and get changed, and making sure that we do not upset the balance that you want, working with you. What works best in your environment is not going to be best for everybody else, and we know that. So we want to make sure that we have, number one, we have our lab environment that we can throw it in and test and see to make sure if we can try to break it or if there's something wrong with it. Getting all that advice and information directly from you is why we're in this space in the first place. We don't want to come out and create a generic template for everybody that works at the base level, but we do know you're going to have differences, and we want to be able to implement them.
okay, thank you.
Yep. I want to make sure that we don't brick your device. We also don't want to have any instances where we're shutting down things where, let's say if your library, you want open access for everyone to go everywhere, and that's perfectly fine, but we still need proper logging. We still need better access. We need to be able to see what's going on. But if you're a higher level environment that's behind, GLBA or something along those lines, then obviously we're going to have a much different template. So we have to take those things into consideration. But as we're going back through, that's where we want to have you all being a secondary people to us to tell us like, hey, what's going on? I see this, and 99% of the time when you tell us, we're already working on it and we're already trying to figure it out. This is where we're trying to do the reporting side as well. So in that way we can try to give you daily reports that give you access and insight into what's going on in your environment without having to spend so much time trying to figure out or even trying to log into those devices. You just get a quicker access to it.
I'm going to move on to Corey's question, and I'm going to summarize it. So please, Corey, let me know if I don't summarize it correctly. But for folks who have used Palo Alto for a while, have it very integrated into their system, how much flexibility do they have in doing the changes that they're used to doing on their own? Corey listed things like configuring network interfaces, security zones, etc. And I know we mentioned the advanced admin privileges, but do we know that that would enable that? Because while making the service category 1 eligible is extremely attractive, if it's going to limit people's access or limit what folks are able to do, is that a good trade-off?
Yeah, I think I'll start and then I'll kind of pass it over to Margarita, because like this is where the amount of administrative functionalities that we want you to have, like we don't want you to go to the latest and greatest firmware instantly every single time it comes out, because everyone knows that they're filled with 0 days and problems that don't get fixed. So we keep you on some of those types of things. We do specific tests to make sure that people are keeping up to date, but we also make sure that you're not putting yourself in danger. But then on top of that, some of those are held back from you, but we do give you specific rights, and I'll let Margarita kind of tell you a little bit more about those.
So Corey, so what Heidi touched on, so we can the network configuration, like that includes interface configuration. That's part of our advanced admin access for members. I will reconfirm. I'll get back to you on the granularity, and if we can like replicate exactly what you're asking on the Palos. But unless I think Tom Werner from Palo Alto is here, if you can help me out with that one.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you, what was the exact question?
So, Tom, because we do limit currently the read and write access, admin access to network settings that includes interfaces. So, what Corey's asking, if this is possible, because they are really hands-on with their environment, if they're, able to configure those without getting a full access to all the settings, admin settings in the in the Palo Alto.
You can get pretty granular when it comes down to individual settings for some of the custom profiles. Depending on exactly what you'd want, we'd have to look into it, but I'm happy to work with Margarita and the team to explore what that profile would look like, but I'm sure there's something that we can do to find a good balance.
Yeah, I guess I was just asking the question. I've never done a managed firewall service like this here, but I know someone who walked into one of those with the competing product that WiscNet has, and just ran into some real limitations on the abilities to be able to go in and configure things the way you want it. I'm just was curious how much freedom we would have to go in and keep maintaining things the way we have been under this sort of program.
And Corey, just wanted to add, we implemented the process for advanced member admin permissions about a year ago. So that's a
And this was before that, so
yeah. So, and
makes
because
sense.
again, we had several members reach out to us and who like to be more hands-on, and that's why again we listened and we modified our process for granting admin permissions. So.
Sure. Okay.
It's probably from you, Corey, coming into the virtual hours telling me. So you're welcome. Yeah, your feedback that's what drives us. We're here to help all of you. So if that's what you all want, because many of you, I can't imagine being an administrator on my own side and having a teacher walk up and say, I need access to this network. I need it right now. And then having to submit a ticket and wait. No. I'm not going to turn around and do that.
So many real system sort of changes, with making anything big. I try to do outside of normal hours, which probably isn't the best time to coordinate with WiscNet's support on setting up new interfaces and security zones and trying to match VLAN configurations on our network to stuff going into the firewall.
Yep, and you're always welcome to call us after hours now too. We're linked up with our NOC now, and if it's firewall related, it goes to our firewall administrator that's on call in the after hours now. So we added that as well. So we've been listening to the feedback again and making those corrections.
And Corey, we are pretty flexible when it comes to, because we understand that you need your production network up during the operational hours. So I'd say we're pretty flexible if you have changes that you mentioned before, and we can coordinate the after hours time with you to address what you need to address that you cannot do during the operational hours. So
okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I see a comment from Matt in the chat, just providing some feedback on working with Margarita. Matt, thank you for providing that. Do folks have other questions? While people think about that, I just wanted to touch on, again, the Category 1 E-rate eligibility for this. Again, to be Category 1 E-rate eligible, it's an integrated network access and firewall service. For those members who are on the Teach network, I just, full transparency, this service, because it's so new, is not on the current Teach contract. that goes, I believe it goes until January 2028. However, we expect the next contract, the procurement to start anytime during the summer. And our intent is to include this service, include the integrated service as a value add service on that contract, so that even teach members could get the integrated service as a category 1 eligible. We just have to go through that procurement process and see what the results are. But that is something that we are very aware of and that we're working towards and planning on. So, you know, once that whole procurement process is complete, we'll inform the membership. But that's kind of where we're at with that. Do folks have any other questions, whether it's about E-rate eligibility or anything else about the service? Okay, well then I guess I'll turn it over to Michaela.
Sounds good. Thank you. All right. So with no more questions kind of filtering in, again, if you think of some while I'm doing my little closing, feel free to unmute, interrupt me. That's totally fine, or drop it in the chat. But our next Teach and Learn will be in August. So keep an eye out for that announcement coming in the next month and a half or so. And just overall, thank you all so much for joining us today. Again, we'll be sending out the recording, the chat transcript as well, just because there were so many good question and answers in there. And then also any useful links will come in the next couple of days. And then, as always, feel free to reach out to us at any time.
Michaela, there is a question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
it's
dropped
me
in there.
again.
No, that's okay.
Maybe I'll just ask it, but I run into that before with the 30% rule in E-rate with the bundled licensing for Palo Altos. And maybe it doesn't matter then, maybe it's different under category 1, or maybe it doesn't matter because it's being combined in a single FRN with the larger firewall hardware purchase to keep it from falling under that 30% rule. But some of the bundles I've looked at, and like what we did last time, just it didn't end up being E-rate eligible because of that rule.
So we work with Palo Alto to find out the E-rate eligibility of each of the items. And then we've taken that and from the numbers I've seen, those all exceed the 30% eligibility. And in our pricing, rather than talk percentages on our quotes, we split it out for you. And so we say this much is eligible, this much is not eligible. And try to make that really simple and straightforward. But we have not run into anything yet where it's not E-rate eligible because of the level of partial eligibility.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Corey, unless you have another one.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. All right. So I think that's it. So thank you all for joining. Again, you'll receive an email with all of this in the next couple of days here. And Heidi, is there a slide just with contact information?
It was this one.
Perfect. Yeah. So this shows if you guys are interested in learning more, reach out to myself and Ivor or the Secure Platform team. But otherwise, have a great rest of your Wednesday.
Yes, thank
All
you,
right.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.